Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the council meeting for Wednesday, November the 12th. Before we call this meeting to order, I just want to give it to Mr. Clerk to talk a little bit about a little technical glitch that we're having here at the meeting today. So, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you. For the benefit of the viewing public, there is a technical glitch we're having with our live stream this morning in which a logo is appearing on the screen. We don't know if it is being broadcast. I have to say that this is technical difficulties related to our live streaming service, and it is not a public advertisement at all. Thank you.
You know, it keeps coming back though. So it'll appear there every now and again for some reason. We'll figure that out later, but in the meantime, we just wanted to mention that. So I'll call this meeting to order. We are gathering on lands that have been home to First Nation people from time immemorial. We acknowledge that what we now call Richmond Hill is on the treaty lands and territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the Mississauga and Chippewa Nations of the Williams Treaty. We also recognize that we are on part of the traditional territories of the Haudenosaunee and the Huron-Wendat. We would also like to acknowledge all First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people from across Turtle Island who now reside in the city of Richmond Hill. We are committed to rebuilding constructive and cooperative relationships. So with that said, I would ask if you can please stand for our national anthem. Okay, thank you very much. I don't think we have anybody registered for public forum, so we'll bring it to council announcements. Do we have anybody for council announcements? Okay, Regional Local Councillor DePaulo.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I just want to recognize and thank our local Legion branch and all the organizers, our city staff that helped with our Remembrance Day ceremony on Sunday. You know, it's just wonderful to see, Mr. Mayor, hundreds of young cadets and all the people that were there braving cold weather to remember the sacrifice that was made by so many people in this country to protect those Western values and freedoms that we hold dear in Canada. And if you'll allow, I just go back and let people know. In 1994, when I was attending York University as a member of student council, we had organized a squadron of soldiers to come into York University and parade through around Very Hall, if you know it, on York University campus. And at that time, veterans of the Second World War weren't 100 years old like now; they were 70. And you know, we had quite a number, a very large number of former Canadian soldiers that fought in the World War II and Korea and Afghanistan and other places, and the Iraq War and other places. And the students organized a rally and blocked the regiment. They had horrible signs that disgraced the remembrance symbols And you know, as a young person, I was really concerned of what that might mean for the future, and all of those veterans that deserve to have that day that's we set aside every year for them was ruined, and they chose to come to York, and everyone who made that choice did not have the opportunity to that year be recognized for their service and for their contributions. So I was so encouraged that 31 years later, to see all those young people out there, to see, you know, 31 years ago, I didn't know what the future of Canada held, but now we know that this is something, a tradition that we're going to continue. Mr. Mayor, your speech was excellent, and all of the ceremony was such a wonderful tribute. It's such a wonderful tradition that needs to continue as we preserve our Western values. And, you know, in 1940s, it was a little more obvious who the enemy was, and what the Western world needed to unite to fight. But today it's a little more ambiguous, and it's a little more difficult. Sometimes the evil is more insidious, and even within our nations. You look at the UK right now with 12,000 arrests being law-abiding citizens who otherwise law-abiding citizens who have made comments online and have opinions, and you know, speech and is considered there and a crime. And in Canada, we have Bill C-9 that's considering it a crime for speech, for words. Words are not violence. Words are not criminal. Speech that is hateful is wrong, but it's not wrong to have speech that you hate, because the most controversial opinions are the ones that need to be protected. So we have long tradition of fighting for the freedoms that we have, including freedom of speech and freedom of peaceful assembly. And now more than ever, we need to salute and pay tribute to those who fought to preserve it, but we need to continue to fight and be vigilant to protect those Western Canadian values that we hold so dear. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you. I will say I was really pleased to see so many people, as always, show up at the Remembrance Day service. I mean, it was really, really cold and snowing, and you know, very much what a November day could be in our part of the world. But it was it didn't deter anybody from showing up, and that, I think that was really great. And I should also add that yesterday there was also a fair decent crowd show up at the November the 11th Remembrance Day service as well. So thank you to those people that came out, and I agree that the Royal Canadian Legion that we have here in Richmond Hill is doing a great job in honoring our veterans, both past and future, actually. Okay, Councillor Thompson.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to add to that as well, in that people may have noticed that we had some fencing around the cenotaph right up until just prior to the Remembrance Day parade. And I do have to give a shout out to our Public Works Department for arranging to get all the inscriptions redone up so that everybody can actually see those names that had been fading over the years. And they really did a great job, and it really looks good. I also want to give a shout out to Ross Toms at the Legion, who worked diligently on the No Stone Left Alone initiative. I got the opportunity to walk through the cemetery at the Presbyterian Church, and they had actually put a poppy, a flag, and a solar light at all the veteran stones throughout the cemetery. So a big shout out to the Legion for that initiative as well. Thank you.
No, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none. I did also just want to mention the federal budget was announced the other day, and in that federal budget, I was very pleasantly surprised to see a number of different projects that were being offered federal funding across Canada, and one of them was the Unity Park PS 752 memorial that we're planning and working with the families of the Association of Flight PS 752 to finalize. And this is a very important step for that project because without the funding from the federal and provincial government, we'll have a hard time making that happen. But with the federal commitment being so firm, actually, in the budget itself, it'll be really helpful for us to be able to leverage that to get the provincial funding. And I know that our MPP, Minister Michael Parsa, has been working very hard on getting that happen. So I'm really proud of that. I think this will be an important memorial in our city to memorialize the victims of that and to help us have a place where we can gather to support the families and the rest of the community that lost so many people in that horrible tragedy. So, all right, with that being said, I need to ask if there's any emergency or time-sensitive matters to be brought up. Seeing none, I need a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Tree, Councillor Silovitz. Okay, disclosures of pecuniary interest or the general nature there. Do you want to do that too? Okay, I'm just I wanted to, you look like you weren't paying attention, but I now see that you were. So all those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. That carries unanimously. Disclosures of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof. Seeing none. Okay, adoption of previous council minutes. We had a council public meeting held on October the 28th and a council meeting held on October 29th. I need a motion for that. Councillor Shu, Regional Local Councillor DePaulo, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Thank you. Okay, identification of items requiring separate discussion. We could potentially approve everything except 15.1.4 member motion from Regional Local Councillor DePaulo, but if there's anything that people want to extract for discussion, we can do that. Okay, seeing none, we need an adoption of all of those items with the exception of 15.1.4. Councillor Davidson, Councillor Thompson, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Thank you. All right, we have no public hearings. We have no presentations. We do have one delegation. That's Roberta Scott from the AED Foundation related to the member motion that we'll be talking about. So I see Ms. Scott is online. If you would like to turn your camera on, Ms. Scott, and you have 5 minutes to address council.
I'm just trying to put the foundation name in there so people know where I'm with. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Just wanted to get the name properly in there if I've got it. Okay. Hello, everyone. I was speaking last week and to Councillor DePaulo's motion. And after I spoke, I heard there was a lot of questions about the issue. And so I thought it might be helpful for me to just come on and take a brief minute or two to just see if I can clarify a few of the things that people were asking about that I wasn't able to address. So I just prepared something very brief. So the first thing, there was an issue about Bill 141 and the legislation. So I just want to read what I've prepared. So once that bill is proclaimed and the registry does become operational, the province will require designated or public premises to register their AEDs, which people were asking about. The AED Foundation is currently developing the infrastructure for this registry. So we're building it now. We're actively collecting all the AED data to support this build. So the intent with the motion, I believe, is that by taking a proactive approach with the motion, Richmond Hill will be a municipal leader in this initiative and have the opportunity to demonstrate to other municipalities the importance of advocating for AEDs and promoting the AEDs within their community. So that will help us very much with awareness because we're trying to let everyone in the province know about this new registry. and get as many AEDs registered before it actually becomes proclaimed. So that would be very helpful for us. The next one was, there was a question about what is a publicly accessible AED at this point. So currently, the AED Foundation and the Ministry of Health are drafting regulations that define publicly accessible spaces. So that hasn't been, the regulations have not been drafted yet. But for the purpose of this motion, you're simply, the council is simply asking that the city staff register the AEDs that are located in your municipal owned and operated buildings and facilities, register them with us, the AED Foundation, because we are the provincial registrar. So this proactive step can be taken now to support the registry, and then again, make Richmond Hill an AED advocate and leader in Ontario. So that's sort of what we're hoping to gain by this. There was a question about, are private businesses or private citizens required to register? The answer is no. Only publicly accessible AEDs are required to be registered. However, businesses and private citizens are highly encouraged to register, and that will help save more lives. Again, so this motion will help us with the awareness. If people do want to people that have private AEDs do want to voluntarily register, we welcome that, and that will help. There was a question about who's funding the AED Foundation and who are we representing. So the AED Foundation was founded by myself, Roberta Scott. I'm an advanced care paramedic, as I said. My co-founder is also a paramedic. So there were two paramedics that started this foundation. We have been designated by the province as the AED registrar by the Ministry of Health, and we're building the registry on behalf of the ministry. Those are the things I wanted to touch on. I don't know if I'm allowed to answer questions, but I'll just give it back to the floor, and thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Ms. Scott. Okay, so we'll bring this back to council and bring forward 15.1.4. So I'll bring this to Regional Local Councillor DePaulo to get us started.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Now, we all see the motion in front of us, and you know, I want to really thank council for supporting it at committee. I hope we can support it, and I hope the questions have been answered that were you know, and concerns have been addressed. And it's the nature of taking a leadership position, is that we all need to be on the same board, but we're all dealing with you know, the frontier of information in this initiative. But I hope that there's reassurance from, I thank the delegate for coming again. I hope there's reassurance that this is a Ministry of Health designated organization to conduct this registry. And the AED Foundation of Ontario is understanding the enormity of the tasks that they're responsible for. And, you know, they're getting out there ahead of legislation, which takes some time, and asking us in Richmond Hill to be leaders and to make the declaration that we're on board with this, and that we're going to take the list that already has been established here. There's not a lot of work that needs to be done by our city staff. We have a comprehensive list of the locations of where these are in what we consider our public spaces, and it merely needs to be handed over. The other request to put you know, make a simple statement that I'm confident our city staff can put something on our website or something out there that we're encouraging you know, private businesses to follow and along, and to also make you know, create awareness for where their defibrillators are located. So I thank council for the support. I hope there aren't any outstanding issues or concerns. This is the proper way of going about it. We're the first ones, and we're leaders, and I think it's a very good thing, because it's a very good initiative. It's really sort of long overdue, but things get stalled a little bit. Like where it's stalled right now is they have to properly define what is a publicly accessible space. You know, they have to go through that exercise before the province can bring this into effect. So I thank everyone. I hope you know, even now that if anyone has remaining questions, that they can be addressed, and I hope that we can go forward and you know, truly be, with the acceptance of this motion, the first municipality to register the location of the defibrillators, and that we will, in doing so, send a message to the rest of Ontario to get with this life-saving initiative. Thank you.
You'll move the motion, I presume, right? Okay, so Councillor Sullivan.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll gladly second the motion. I want to thank Regional Councillor DePaulo for bringing this forward. Fully supported, and thank you to the delegate for speaking and for hopefully clearing up a few things. And I think this is an excellent initiative, and I'm all for Richmond Hill leading the way in most things. So fully supported and seconded. Thank you.
Thank you. Regional Local Councillor Deputy Mayor Godwin Chan.
Thank you very much. It's certainly the motion, well, now it's kind of revised motion, is certainly the with all good intention for having that the one, I believe one of my colleagues raised last week is required under Bill 141 brought in 2020. And also I concur, anything that any public body, including City of Richmond Hill, can bring up the awareness, that is certainly something that helps to save life in the moment of the critical, that any minute counts. And I'm actually pleased to hear from our delegate today that 2 paramedics start the AED Foundation, because in the week in between, I thought of, well, York Region have paramedics. So, they are trained to help in the time of emergency. So I did get some more information from York Region's paramedics. I thought it would be helpful to share with my colleagues if this is not already known. Yes, AED Foundation Ontario has been designated as the official AED register under the bill, which is mentioned by the mover and also mentioned by the delegate. And the actual York Region paramedics, they have already registered all York regionally maintained AED with AED Foundation as of August. So in York Region, actually, they have been stepping forward and quite understanding because of the paramedic service nature. As well, York Paramedics has been a leader in terms of already communicated to the Central Ambulance Communication Center that for a number of years, all the maintained and listed in the regional facilities for all the AEDs. So I think that is the context information I thought would be helpful to really that Richmond Hill is doing that, but York Region-wise is also been doing it. And because York Region Paramedic actually maintains a list of all known public access, not private, because they're not required, as mentioned by delegate, but public access already is in their list. So this is only going to further complement, and in particular Richmond Hill and all of York Region, we would have no shortage in terms of information about where those AED is, and any promotion would help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion on the floor. Anybody else want to speak to that? Okay, I'll just quickly, I was talking to some of the paramedics on at Remembrance Day, and you know, I think on a practical level, they gave me a little bit more insight into this as well. But this is all about in the moment of a crisis where somebody is having a cardiac event, to be able to get them the help that they need as quickly as we possibly can, and as efficiently as we possibly can. So having all of the AEDs registered and so that everybody knows where they are is most certainly a good thing. Because I think, you know, in a situation like that, time is very, very important. And what the paramedics were telling me is, like, they obviously have AEDs on board in all the ambulances, but It's the time between the 911 call and the time that the paramedics arrive. If there's an AED close by, the public can get started. And so by the time the paramedics arrive, the patient is already being treated. And they outlined for me and confirmed to me how important that is in terms of chances of survival and the medical outcome in a time of a cardiac event. I would also say, though, that it's really important to be able to encourage businesses that have AEDs, and there are a number of them, around our community. But if somebody is having a heart attack in an area where the unit next door, a commercial unit next door, also has an AED, if there's any way for us to encourage, not mandate, but encourage that these public businesses could also register their AEDs, I think that's also really helpful. And I gave the example at Committee of the Whole where when I ran my business, there was an event that happened not too far from where my business was. And after the fact, one of the business owners said, just so everybody in the area knows, they have an AED. So this is essentially a formalization of the process that probably could have saved this person's life. And I think that's definitely going to be something that's important if somebody is having a cardiac event like that. They don't really care how their life got saved, just so long as it got saved. So anyway, those would be my comments. Madam City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you. I just wanted to share some information with council to reconfirm the motion that I believe is about to get approved. In my tenure as Director of Recreation and Culture, we have these AED units in all of the recreation facilities and community centers and arenas. I do want to let council know that we saved 2 lives. One in Centennial Pool, where staff were able to use the AED machine for a gentleman who collapsed in the men's shower area in that pool, and staff were able to revive him, and the paramedics took over once they got there. And in one of our arenas, we had one of the referees go down, and the residents were able to grab the AED machine. They revived the referee in that game before the paramedics got there. I just wanted to let you know how valuable these are. And so we have been a part of receiving the AED machine since inception of the program. And we're ahead of the game in terms of now the registration on them. So we absolutely believe in their worth.
Thank you. That's actually really important. I appreciate that. Okay, so we have a motion before us. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, so I believe the next item on the agenda, do you want to do the bylaws first? Okay, so we have, let me see here. We have bylaws 18.1 through 18.7. We could do them as a package deal if somebody wanted to move that. Regional Local Councillor Deputy Mayor Chan, Councillor Tree, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. We also have the possibility of an in-camera session, but I have spoken informally to members of council. I don't think there's a need to go in camera for this particular item. And if that's the case, then we can proceed to the recommendation for the out of camera part. So Councillor Thompson, you'll move it, and Councillor Tree, you'll second it. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries. So, Mr. Clerk, if you could just let us know what we just voted on.
Yes, thank you. Through the chair, for the benefit of the public, council has obviously consented not to resolve into closed session to consider matters relating to personal matters about identifiable individuals, and has instead adopted the following motion. That council approve the appointment of Thomas Rayburn as fire chief in accordance with subsection 6.1 of the Fire Protection and Prevention Act, Statutes of Ontario 1997, and that draft bylaw 151-25 attached as Appendix A to closed session staff report SRCS 25.17 be approved and deemed to come into effect on December 1st, 2025.
Okay, well, thank you. So I think it's important to announce at this moment that I want to say congratulations to our current deputy, but soon to be Fire Chief Thomas Rayburn. It is really going to be a wonderful thing to have somebody from our team step up and become the new Fire Chief. So congratulations to Tom. He's been a fantastic part of the team, and I look forward to working with him as the new chief. And that'll happen on December the 1st. I would also like to thank Chief Brian Burbage for all of the work, the great work that he's done in Richmond Hill as chief. And I will say for sure on me personally, and I'm sure the rest of council will agree, that Chief Burbage has been an absolute pleasure to work with. He is an absolute gentleman, very, very good at what he does. And we thank him for all of the work that he's done in our community over the years that he's been chief to keep our community safe and to lead our fire and emergency services. So thank you very much, Chief Burbage. And on another note, as I said, thank you to new Chief Thomas Rayburn as of December the 1st. So thanks very much. Okay, with that being said, I think the only thing we have to do is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of this meeting. Councillor Davidson, Councillor Thompson, all those in favor, opposed, that carries. Thank you. And lastly, a motion to adjourn. Councillor Silovitz, Councillor